By the end of this scene, you'll be able to set up and deploy a new feature using Claude Code, making the process as smooth and efficient as possible. Let's dive right in. First things first, we need to create a new project directory for our feature. Open your terminal or command prompt. Bash dir my_feature. cd my_feature. Next, initialize Claude Code by running the setup script. This will automatically configure everything you need. Bash carlosetup.sh https://ro.gitbuzercontém.com/inteligência artificial developer tools Clodicode main setup.sh e bash setup.sh. This setup script will create a claude.json file in your project directory, which is essential for Claude Code to work its magic. Now that the environment is set up, let's initialize our feature. Create an empty.clude.md file. Bash touch.claude.md. This markdown file will be where we define and manage our feature. Open it with your preferred text editor or a code editor like VS Code. Bash code in .claude.md. You'll write the logic for your new feature. For example, if you're adding a logging system to your application, you might start by defining a function that logs messages. Markdown Python def log message print f logging message. Now, let's add some logic to use this function in our code. Create an index.py file and link it to your .claude.md for Claude Code to manage. Bash touchindex.py. Add a simple script that uses the log function. Python from .claude import log. Def main log starting application. If underscore name underscore equals underscore main. Now, let's run your feature to make sure everything works as expected. Use the run command provided by Claude Code. Bash runindex.py. Claude Code will automatically start a test server and execute your script, showing you any output or errors in real time. Finally, you're ready to deploy your feature. Use the deploy command to package and distribute it to production. Bash deploy. This command will take care of all the necessary steps, including version control, dependency management, and deployment to your chosen environment. By following these steps, you can now ship a feature end-to-end using Claude Code. Now that you've seen the entire workflow, try adding a small bug fix or enhancement to a real project. Happy coding with Claude. By the end of this step, you'll have initialized a new Claude Code project and set up your development environment to start coding with Claude. Let's dive in. First things first, open your terminal or command prompt. We're going to create a new directory for our project. Navigate to where you want your project to live and run. Bash dir_feature and cd my_feature. Now we'll initialize a new Claude Code project by running the following command. Bash npx Clodicode init. This will set up a basic structure for your project. If you haven't installed Clodicode, do it now by running. Bash npm install Clodicode. Once that's done, let's walk through the configuration steps. Navigate to the root of your new project directory and start configuring your MCP server. 1. Run scripts /configuremcp.js. This will guide you through setting up your local MCP multi-code point server. 2. Follow the prompts in the terminal. You'll need a name for your workspace, which can be anything descriptive like FeatureX. 3. After configuration, you might see some output indicating that everything's set up correctly. Next, let's scaffold out our feature by creating a new file. In your project directory, create a new JavaScript or TypeScript file. Bash npx Clodicode new myfeature.js. This will generate a new file with the necessary boilerplate for Claude Code. Next, open myfeature.js in your favorite code editor. At this point, you have everything set up to start coding. Your project is ready to go, and you can begin implementing your feature. All right, you've got your project set up, nice and cozy in Claude Code. Now, let's get to the fun part, writing and testing our feature using claude.md. First things first, open up index.claude or whatever file name you chose for your main module. This is where the magic happens. Start off by defining a new feature. Let's say we're building a simple chatbot response that greets users based on the time of day. Open index.claude and add this snippet. Claude. Feature greeting underscore based underscore time. When time underscore day equals morning. Return good morning user. When time underscore day equals afternoon. Return good afternoon user. When time underscore day equals evening. Return good evening user. This feature checks the current time and returns an appropriate greeting. Now, let's make sure it works like a charm. At the bottom of your index.claude file, add some mock test cases. Claude. Test morning. At time underscore day equals 8 o'clock. Assert greeting underscore time equals good morning user. Test afternoon. At time underscore day equals 1400 hours. Assert greeting underscore time equals good afternoon user. Test evening. At time underscore day equals 2200 hours. Assert greeting underscore time equals good evening user. These tests will ensure your feature reacts correctly to different times of the day. Run Claude Validate in your project directory. This command checks for any syntax errors or inconsistencies in your Claude.md code. Bash $Claude validate -output égale index.clodecode.html. It will generate an HTML report that you can look at to see if everything is shipshape. To test it locally, run Claude exec. This command will execute your feature and show the output. Bash $Claude exec. If all tests pass, congrats. You've successfully written and tested a new feature with Claude.md. That's not all. You're also one step closer to deploying it. All right, you've got your feature all written and tested in Claude.md. Now comes the fun part, deploying it so your app starts using it like a pro. We're going to use the Claude API and some hooks to make sure everything works smoothly. Let's do this. First, ensure you have the environment set up for deploying your feature. You'll need access to the Claude API keys and your project's mcp.yaml file. Make sure these are in a safe place. We're going to use the Python SDK, so if it's not installed yet, go ahead and install it using bash pip install Anthropic. If you haven't already, configure your MCP server with the necessary settings. Open mcp.yaml and add or update the following section to include a trigger for your feature. This is where you define how the Claude API will be invoked. YAML. Triggers. Name, my_feature_trigger. Hook, run_feature. Now, we need to define what happens when this trigger is fired. Create a Python script that uses the Claude API to execute your feature code. Let's call it hooks/run_feature.py. Python. From Anthropic import Anthropic, human_prompt, AI_prompt. Def run_feature. Client equals Anthropic. API_key equals your underscore here. Hashtag, assuming you have a function named my_feature_code in Claude.md. Response equals client.completion. Prompt equals f human_prompt run my_feature_code AI_prompt. Modèle égale Claude-2. Print response. If _name equals main_, run _feature. Remember to replace your _API_, here with your actual API key. Test everything by running the hook locally to make sure it works as expected. Bash Python hooks/run_feature.py. If you see output, great. It means your feature is being invoked correctly. Now, let's deploy this to your application. Finally, use MCP, Machine Configuration Platform, to deploy the changes. Navigate to the MCP dashboard and push these updates. Bash MCP push. MCP will take care of syncing all configurations across your deployment environment. Once it completes, check that everything works as expected in your production setup. Once deployed, test thoroughly by triggering your feature in a live scenario to ensure everything is working flawlessly. Observe logs and outputs to make sure there are no issues. By the end of this, your feature will be seamlessly integrated into your application via the Claude API and hooks. Now that you know how to do it, give it a try on one of your projects. Deploying with Claude Code is all about making those pieces fit together perfectly. By the end of this step, you'll have a better understanding of how well your feature performs in the real world, and you'll be able to make any necessary adjustments to improve its functionality or user experience. Open your web browser and navigate to where you deployed your feature. If you use the MCP server, head over to http://local.server.com port. If it's a public endpoint, use the URL provided during deployment. Go through the flow of your application that integrates Claude Code. Try interacting with your new feature in various ways. Click buttons, fill out forms, and see if everything works as expected. Pay attention to any errors or unexpected behavior. Head back to your terminal where you ran server. Look at the log output for any error messages or warnings related to your deployed feature. You can find these logs in a file named MCP server.log inside the working directory of your project. Analyze any errors and note down what might need fixing. Based on what you observed, make adjustments to your code. If there were errors or issues with user experience, update your .claude.md scripts and rerun the deployment command in server run. Test again after making changes until everything works flawlessly. Document any refinements you made in a separate file, say refinements.md, so that future updates or maintenance are easier to track. This step is crucial for maintaining the quality and clarity of your codebase. Run server run again to redeploy your refined feature. Make sure all tests pass before moving on. By following these steps, you'll ensure that your feature not only works as intended, but also leaves a clean trail for future development. By now, you should have a clear understanding of how to use Claude Code to ship a feature end-to-end. You've reviewed the entire process from ideation to deployment, and you're ready to put it into practice. Let's get started by initializing a new project. Open your terminal or command prompt and type dear my feature project, cd my feature project. This will create a new directory for your project. Now initialize the Claude Code environment with Clodicode. Follow the prompts to set up your project. Choose a name for your feature, select any dependencies you might need, and configure the settings according to your needs. Next, let's dive into writing some code. Create a new file called app.py in your project directory. Touch app.py. Open it in your text editor and start building out your feature. Use the examples we've gone over as a guide, or add your own unique features. Remember to test your code thoroughly. Once you're happy with your implementation, deploy it by running ClaudeCode deploy. If everything goes smoothly, your feature will be live and ready for users. Visit the URL provided in the terminal to see your hard work in action. Don't just stop here. Keep experimenting and iterating. Try adding new features or improving existing ones. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll become with Claude Code. If you've enjoyed this walkthrough, why not subscribe to our channel? We have lots more useful content to share. Let's build some amazing things together.